Have you ever wondered about the Hollywood stars whose lights faded too soon, promising talents that vanished from the spotlight with unexplained suddenness? Among them is Phillips Holmes, once a golden face of early 1930s cinema. Honored with a star on the Walk of Fame in 1960, his name is barely recognized today. Yet behind his skyrocketing career and tragic demise in World War II lies a complex web of untold secrets. Was it merely fate? Or were unseen forces a secret blacklist, perhaps truly at play, destroying his career and pushing him toward his ultimate destiny? Prepare to peel back the layers and uncover the tragic truth about a life once so full of promise, a story Hollywood left behind, where the glow begins to crack. Amidst the glittering constellation of Hollywood's early golden age, one star shone with a particularly refined glow: Phillips Holmes. Born with a presence that exuded a unique blend of vulnerability and quiet intensity, Holmes quickly captured the imagination of audiences. He wasn't merely a matinee idol. His talent allowed him to excel in both sweeping romantic dramas and intense brooding roles, showcasing a depth beyond just good looks. By the early 1930s, his career trajectory seemed limitless. Major studios courted him, offering significant roles that solidified his status as a leading man truly poised for superstardom. Yet even as he reached these heights, beneath the surface of this dazzling ascent, subtle cracks began to appear. An unseen resistance seemed to encounter his promising path, hinting at the dark life that lay just beyond the spotlight, a deviation from the future so confidently predicted. By the late 1930s, Phillips Holmes's once bright star began to fade. His thriving career faltered as roles vanished and contracts evaporated without explanation. Whispers of a blacklist echoed through Hollywood's glamorous halls, hinting at a hidden agenda. Was it a personal scandal, a rival's plot, or a darker force at work? These murmurs grew, casting long shadows over his path. The unseen blacklist's grip tightened, pushing him toward a tragic fate, as Hollywood's shine masked a sinister truth. The Invisible Wall, a verdict from nowhere. Phillips Holmes, once a beacon of Hollywood promise, found himself ensnared by an unseen force that would unravel his career. The whispers that had begun to haunt him under the spotlight now coalesced into a chilling reality: the specter of a blacklist. This was no mere rumor, but a silent, devastating verdict delivered from a nameless place, a shadowy corner of Hollywood where power and paranoia intertwined. The blacklist, an invisible wall, stood between Holmes and his dreams, its origins cloaked in mystery, its impact undeniable. Hollywood in the late 1930s was a glittering facade masking a ruthless underbelly. The industry was gripped by fear of scandal, of political entanglements, of losing favor with the moguls who held the keys to stardom. The House Un-American Activities Committee loomed on the horizon, its shadow already cast over Tinseltown. Studios eager to protect their empires began purging anyone deemed a risk. Actors, writers, and directors found themselves ostracized, their names scratched from call sheets without explanation. For Phillips Holmes, this was the crucible in which his career was tested and broken. What could have placed Holmes in the crosshairs of such a fate? The reasons remain shrouded in speculation, each theory a thread in the dark tapestry of his life. Some whispered of personal conflicts, perhaps a clash with a powerful producer or director whose ego demanded retribution. Others pointed to his private life, suggesting that his romantic entanglements or rumored associations raised eyebrows in an era obsessed with moral propriety. There were even murmurs of political leanings, though no evidence pinned Holmes as a radical. Whatever the cause, the blacklist's grip was merciless, its existence a truth Hollywood dared not acknowledge. The impact was swift and brutal. Roles that once flowed to Holmes dried up. Where he had once commanded leading parts in films like An American Tragedy 1931, he now faced rejections or was offered only minor roles, if any. Studios once eager for his charm turned cold. Producers avoided his calls. Casting directors averted their eyes. Friends in the industry, fearing guilt by association, drifted away, leaving Holmes in a chilling isolation. The blacklist, though never confirmed, was a living nightmare, its shadow lengthening over every aspect of his life. By 1939, the vibrant star who had captivated audiences was fading his career, a casualty of an unseen war. This invisible wall not only crushed his professional life, but gnawed at his spirit. The uncertainty amplified the torment. Was he targeted by mistake? Was there a way to clear his name? These questions, unanswered, deepened the darkness of his existence. The blacklist's cruel irony lay in its silence. It offered no trial, no defense, only a slow erasure. Holmes's story, already tinged with tragedy, took on a new layer of despair as he grappled with a force he could neither see nor fight. As the decade drew to a close, the blacklist's toll was unmistakable. Holmes, once a symbol of Hollywood's golden age, was now a ghost in its machine. The industry that had lifted him to stardom now cast him aside its glamour, a cruel mask for the brutality beneath. This dark chapter in his life set the stage for his final act, a path that would lead from the soundstages of Hollywood to the battlefields of war. The blacklist, a verdict from a nameless place, had not only stolen his career, but pushed him toward a brutal ending, a truth buried in the shadows of Tinseltown's history. Yet, the question lingers: who or what wielded this power? The blacklist's origins remain elusive, its architects hidden behind the industry's velvet curtain. For Holmes, the invisible wall was more than a career killer. It was a harbinger of the tragedy to come. His dark life, marked by this unseen betrayal, underscores the fragility of fame and the cost of crossing an unseen line. As we peel back the layers of his story, the blacklist stands as a stark reminder of Hollywood's hidden cruelties, a force that shaped his fate and left a scar on history. From stage lights to war's smoke. By the dawn of the 1940s, Phillips Holmes stood at the edge of a precipice. The blacklist that had ensnared him in the late 1930s left his career in tatters, its invisible grip tightening around his spirit. Once a darling of Hollywood, he was now a pariah, his name whispered only in cautionary tales. The roles that had defined him, complex charismatic leads, were gone, replaced by rejection and silence. The studio's cold shoulders and the industry's betrayal carved deep wounds not just in his livelihood, but in his soul. The dark life he now led was a stark contrast to the dazzling promise of his early years, a tragedy unfolding under Hollywood's unforgiving glare. The blacklist's toll was relentless. Each lost opportunity, every unanswered audition, every unreturned call chipped away at Holmes's confidence. Friends who once shared his laughter now avoided his gaze, fearful of the blacklist's contagious shadow. The isolation was suffocating, a cruel reminder of the industry's fickleness. Was this the price of fame, or had he crossed an unseen line? The questions gnawed at him unanswered as the darkness of his existence deepened. By 1940, the vibrant star who had captivated audiences was a shadow of himself, his dreams crushed by a force he could neither name nor fight. The blacklist, a silent predator, had not only stolen his career, but pushed him toward a desperate search for purpose. In this void, a new path emerged, one that would lead Holmes far from the stage lights of Hollywood to the smoke-filled skies of war. The world was convulsing under the weight of World War II, and the Royal Canadian Air Force RCAF offered a chance to reclaim agency to escape the suffocating grip of Tinseltown's betrayal. His decision to enlist in 1941 was no mere whim. It was a defiant act, a bid to rewrite his story when Hollywood had closed its curtains on him. Some saw it as heroism, others as a last resort, a man driven to war by the war waged against him at home. The Blacklist's dark legacy lingered its echoes, shaping his choice to trade the soundstage for the cockpit. Joining the RCAF marked a fateful turning point, a tear-stained path that carried Holmes into uncharted territory. Training in Canada, he embraced the rigor of military life, perhaps finding solace in its structure after the chaos of Hollywood's rejection. Yet the weight of his past clung to him. The Blacklist's shadow, though distant, haunted his thoughts, had it driven him here to this alien world of propellers and peril. The decision to serve was both an escape and a reckoning, a chance to prove his worth beyond the industry that had cast him aside. But it also carried an ominous undertone, as if fate itself was drawing him toward a brutal ending. As Holmes donned his RCF uniform, the contrast was stark. The man who once dazzled under spotlights now faced the grim reality of war. His peers in Hollywood continued their charmed lives while he navigated a path fraught with danger. The Blacklist's cruel irony persisted. Its unseen hand had not only robbed him of his career, but steered him toward a battlefield. By 1942, as he took to the skies, the darkness of his life seemed to converge with the smoke of war. Each mission carried the weight of his past, a reminder of the unseen forces that had pushed him here. The tragedy of Phillips Holmes was no longer confined to Hollywood's shadows. It was now written in the clouds, a prelude to a devastating finale. This tear-stained path was more than a career's end. It was a man's unraveling. The Blacklist, a specter born in Tinseltown's paranoia, had set him on a collision course with destiny. His enlistment, brave yet desperate, reflected the toll of a dark life marked by betrayal and loss. As he soared above the earth, the questions lingered. Could he have stayed, fought the Blacklist, reclaimed his place, or was war his only refuge? The answers, like Hollywood's truths, remained buried, obscured by the smoke of a world at war. Holmes's journey from stage lights to battlefields was a testament to the Blacklist's enduring power, a force that shaped his tragic arc and foreshadowed his brutal end. A plummet from the sky. In 1942, Phillips Holmes soared through war-torn skies as a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot, far from Hollywood's faded lights. The Blacklist's shadow, which had crushed his career in the late 1930s, lingered in his heart. Each mission was a defiance of the industry that betrayed him, yet also a dance with fate. Among the few Hollywood stars to serve and die in World War II, Holmes's bravery stood out, his sacrifice a stark contrast to Tinseltown's glamour. But his story hurtled toward tragedy. On August 12, 1942, a mid-air collision during a training flight in Ontario ended his life at 35. The crash was sudden, merciless, a cruel full stop to a life already darkened by loss. The Blacklist's unseen hand, which had driven him from stage to battlefield, seemed to cast its final curse. His death was not just a wartime casualty, but the climax of a dark life shaped by Hollywood's hidden cruelties. Few mourned publicly. The industry that shunned him stayed silent, deepening the tragedy of his erased legacy. Holmes's fall from the sky mirrored his fall from grace. The Blacklist, a specter of betrayal, had set him on this path, robbing him of roles, friends, and hope. His RCAF service, born of desperation, was a bid for redemption, yet it sealed his brutal ending. This rare star-turned soldier left behind a story of talent undone by unseen forces, a poignant reminder of fame's fragility. His death steeped in sorrow evokes empathy for a man who fought both Hollywood's shadows and war's perils, only to be claimed by both. Phillips Holmes's story, a fleeting star extinguished by unseen forces, reverberates far beyond the silver screen. His rise in the early 1930s, followed by the blacklist's cruel grip in the late 1930s, reveals Hollywood's dual nature, a place of dazzling dreams and ruthless shadows. The whispers of a blacklist stripped him of roles, friends, and hope, casting a dark life over his once bright path. His tragic end in 1942, plummeting from the skies as a Royal Canadian Air Force pilot, was not merely a wartime loss, but a culmination of betrayals, a brutal full stop scripted by an industry that turned its back. Hollywood's golden age was a gilded cage where talent like Holmes's could soar or be snuffed out by invisible hands. The blacklist, a specter born of paranoia, reflected an era where power trumped fairness. His story asks us to question who else fell victim to such silent verdicts. The darkness of his life, marked by rejection and isolation, mirrors the struggles of countless others whose dreams were crushed by forces beyond their control. Each lost role, each unanswered call was a wound, a reminder of the blacklist's enduring shadow that pushed him toward war and a tragic fate. What lessons linger in these echoes? Holmes's journey exposes the fragility of fame, the cost of crossing unseen lines, and the toll of a system that buries its own. His enlistment in the RCAF, a desperate bid for purpose after Hollywood's betrayal, underscores the human cost of such cruelties. The blacklist's legacy, though hidden, shaped his path from stage lights to war's smoke, culminating in his death at 35. His story is a call to reflect on justice. How many others faced similar fates, their names lost to history? The shadows of Hollywood, then and now, remind us that brilliance can be dimmed by forces we may never fully see. As we listen to these echoes from the wings, Holmes's life challenges us to confront the truths buried beneath glamour. His talent, once celebrated, was no shield against the blacklist's wrath. His dark life, defined by loss and betrayal, speaks to the broader human struggle against unseen barriers. We are left to ponder, what does it mean to chase dreams in a world that can so easily turn against you? Holmes's brutal ending, both in Hollywood and in the skies, is a stark reminder of the cost of ambition in a place where light and shadow dance uneasily. His story endures, urging us to seek truth, honor talent, and question the forces that shape our fates.